This episode is about Eduardo Barretto. You can find him and his work online. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page to start, just to give us a brief introductory to the man. He was born in 1954 and he died December 15th, 2011. This was something I did not even know. I had thought he was still with us. But I was watching Jean's video, and like I said, his artwork reminded me of Eduardo. And it got me thinking, maybe I should do a spotlight on the artist. And this was something I've been thinking about for a long time, doing this type of series, because I regularly search out artists and build folders on my computer with some of their artworks in it, just to see if I could sort of mimic or capture some of their techniques and stuff, and sort of incorporate it into my own. So this led me to create this idea of this spotlight. So let's get into it. It says here he was born in 1954 and he died December 15th, 2011. I had not known this. I thought he was still with us. So rest in peace, Eduardo. Thank you for your work. He was Uruguayan. I hope I didn't mispronounce that, but anyway. He worked. I caught him mostly in DC Comics work. I guess his kids work in comics as well, so that's pretty good. Let's see. He was born in Montevideo. Interesting. Grew up reading comics and being an avid supporter of his favorite soccer team. I myself am not too much into soccer. I'm more of a baseball guy. He was reading a comic and decided he would grow up to be a professional comic strip artist. Now that's dedication right there. When I was a teenager, I was telling people I was going to grow up to be a graphic designer, and that's what I am today. But this is not about me. Sorry. Self-taught artist, Barretto named Russ Manning, Hal Foster, and Warren Tufts as his three main artistic influences. When he was 15, with his portfolio under his arm, he went to each and every newspaper in Montevideo looking for a job. I like these stories where people are just so confident with their stuff, and they just put it together in a portfolio, and they just hit the big city, and they get up there and they drop it down on the editor's desk or somebody and say, "I want to work for you." That's moxie. All right. So, 1974, he created a science fiction and space opera strip. Doesn't say what but it says it was inspired by. Okay. Oh, and his first love of comic strips was El Poderoso Halcón, the Mighty Hawk, in Uruguay. Sorry for babbling. It's my first time actually reading this, because I'm just so shocked that I didn't know that he died. I feel bad. One of my favorite artists. United States work. I first caught up with him really when he was doing this. Doc Savage, The Shadow crossover in 1990 March. I think this is some sort of a color. No, it's Doc Savage number 18 when both characters were in DC Comics. J.W. Barr, Gerard Jones, Bill Wigham, and Eduardo Barretto. They did a lot of painting on their artwork, and this art cover here is actually by Barretto and Kubert, and that's Joe Kubert. So, yeah, when I first was introduced to this type of artwork, I was just shocked by the detail and the pulpiness of it. As you can see, he does really good black and white line art. Look at that. Look at the detail and the cross-hatching. It's just very moody and very... I mean, when I think of the shadow, I think of Eduardo Barretto's artwork. I don't know what this is. It's marble, obviously, but it still looks pretty good. You can see his name down there. And here's something, I don't know, somebody else colored, but it's a newer artwork of his, probably before he passed, obviously. But yeah, look at the old boots, you know. Clearly that looks like Doc Savage a little bit, but the swashbuckler, you know, with the sword, the space swashbuckler. And yeah, I think there's an artist right now also out there reminding me of him as Gabriel Hardman. Yeah. So, anyway. So, he worked in Argentina, and then he went to his first U.S. work was inking for marble. And he worked with Chris Claremont, and he inked over Sal Buscema. That's pretty good. Did some Legion of Superheroes. James J. Hudnall. I remember reading that book right there, Lex Luthor Unauthorized Biography. I think I actually have it. And he illustrated it. So yeah, check that out, by the way, if you guys can get a copy of that or find it online, digital, through Comixology or something. I'm sure they've got it for sale online somewhere. Really worth it. Pretty good. Great artwork. Here we go. 1989 and 1990. Barretto drew The Shadow Strikes with Gerard Jones. And he also collaborated on Martian Manhunter. You know what? I actually saw some of that artwork. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Here it is. Okay, so this is the Martian Manhunter artwork that Barretto did for it. As you can see, it's actually pretty good. This is a low res version of it, but take a look at that. He was equally good at drawing superhero and muscles and action as he was drawing clothing and shadow. Very good stuff. You know, sometimes the internet just only lets you see small, tiny artwork. Let's check that out. Cancel. That's kind of interesting. Dedicated to the memory. Here we go. This might actually be a good page here. Awesome. So, as you can see, he was working on Birds of Prey in 2004. Look at that. I wish I could be as great as that. And this is just remembering to draw things where they're supposed to be. They don't have to be. You're copying what you saw or what you envision from your mind. There's those boots again. Look at this, that clothing. He was really a master at drawing. That's all I can say. I mean, look, I wonder how long it took him to draw this panel. Look at that. And we actually have to the right the inks. Yeah. Really solid work. I think I'm going to download this page and keep it in the folder. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. All right. Oh, he actually worked on the Bane Batman storyline where Bane broke Batman's back. He did a lot of that work too. I think he did a Bane one shot or something. Let's see. Hugo Strange. Look at that nice clean work. Alright. Anyway. So he worked at Dark Horse. He drew Indiana Jones, of course, right? Star Wars comics, Superman, Justice League Court, Sergeant Rock. I'm sure that looked great. Agent of Liberty, Mike Danger, Captain Action, Birds of Prey. There it is. Boom Studios, Planetary Brigade. I wonder what that looks like. I'll have to check that out. Final years. He was drawing Captain Action, Superman. In 2010, he was stricken with meningitis and was forced to abandon the Judge Parker daily strip in 2010, which was taken over by Mike Manley. Sometime later, he recovered. He went to work on other projects. In 2011, April, it was announced Barretto and his son Diego would work on Irredeemable. I read that comic. I wonder if his son still worked on that. That was a good comic. Mark Waid, I think. In July 2001, he took over the Phantom Sunday strips. Now, the Phantom is one of those other pulp heroes that's a favorite of mine. Luke McDonnell, which I will highlight in another video, another favorite artist of mine, drew the Phantom for a while. And he was also one of the original Suicide Squad artists. Great stuff. But I would have liked to see Eduardo Barretto's take on the Phantom, so I'll have to search that out. His last published work was DC Retroactive Superman the 70s, published in September 2011. He finished it from his hospital bed, and with some pages drawn by fellow I can't pronounce that. By fellow Uruguayan Christian Duce. Barretto died December 15, 2011. Barretto drew Vampire Wedding, commissioned by Robert Hudinger and Francesca Lombardo, founders of Castelletti's Pictures. Okay. Well, tributes. This is what Jim Lee says about him. With his impeccable draftsmanship and attention to nuance and detail, Eduardo Barretto was a true artist. A mainstay of DC Comics, he was one of the key artists during the 1980s who not only helped define the look and feel of the DC Universe, but got me hooked on Teen Titans. His incredible work and vision will be missed. That is true. So here is his work in bullet points. Did a lot of stuff for DC Comics. Doc Savage, Flash he did, Detective Comics. I'm sure I read some of those. Green Arrow, of course I read those. Justice League Quarterly, Legion of Superheroes, Lex Luthor, Martian Manhunter, Teen Titans, The Question, love The Question, Sergeant Rock, Shadow Strikes, Star Trek, Supergirl, Superman, Swamp Thing, Time Warp, World's Finest, and then a little bit of Marvel. But anyway, that's the man, Eduardo Barretto. This is artwork from Michael Netzer, who is on the cover art of this video. So I hope to make these videos more exciting in the future, and I don't know how I'll do them, but this is the first one. So peace out, everybody, and go check out Google Eduardo Barretto and try to find some of his images. I mean, this is just me Googling Eduardo Barretto, and I'm finding his artwork. That's the man, and this is some of his artwork. Here we go. So on that note, I'm going to call this one done, and I will talk to you on the next one. Peace, folks. Thanks for watching Creator Legends. Please subscribe, like, and share. Links and details for this artist are in the show notes. See you next time.